Alright guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now this is a Vauxhall Nova which is currently undergoing a 2 litre 16 valve turbocharged engine conversion from a Calibra turbo. Now the engine's built. If you look at my other videos you'll see it all demonstrating exactly how I did it. Now we're moving on to the shell. So the last video I stripped the shell down and I made it look like this. In this video we're going to start doing some welding and doing some repairs and making this nice and strong to house that big powerful engine. So where we're going to start? Well, we're going to start somewhere quite simple. Common area on a Vauxhall Nova. This is the outrigger from the chassis. So you kind of jack them on this and lift them on this. This lower splash guard here rots out. And as you can see, this is no exception. It's already rotted. So I'm going to cut this out and repair this first. So I've already wire wheeled the underseal off. As you can see here, that's the original X primer. So now I'm going to mark it and cut it. And we'll go from there. Now I'm making this nice and square just to make it a little bit easier to repair. Right, so as you can see, this is all cleaned up now. I used a flat disc, I used a grinding disc, I used a rotary file like this, and some sandpaper basically, and a wire wheel on a drill. I've got all the rust out and I've etch primed all the inside. So once I've cut the plate out, I'll drill through with a spot weld drill onto these bits here, and then it'll just take the paint off the bit I'm going to weld rather than grinding it all off, because you can't weld through this stuff. In an ideal world, we would get the shell dipped afterwards, and then you can kind of like seal it with a dipping process like this stuff. It's like the original stuff, but it's not an ideal world, so this is the best we can do. Right, this is the bit I removed. As you can see, a little bit worse for wear. So I'm going to use this as a template, stencil essentially, to make a new one, minus the hole. Right, so I've just very crudely cut this out, and he's dressing now, so I'll do that with a rotary file. This is actually a bit of genuine Nova shell, believe it or not. So it's exactly the right thickness. I've got some metal coming, but this is all I've got at the minute. Right, so the fit overall isn't bad, but there's a slight angle here. So it just needs bending the bottom edge basically. There's something just like that. Right, so the paint's gone off, as you can see, just X primer. I've drilled all the holes. So I should be able to now weld this into place, plug weld these holes. It should be very strong again. Right, welded across the top. Some of the bits were a bit crap to weld, if I'm going to be completely honest. But yeah, we've got good penetration across here. I've had to grind some of it down to weld it back, but yeah, really happy with that. So I just need to clamp this up now and then plug weld these bits. So I'm just going to use these cheap eBay special clamps. They work well. And slowly stretch the metal into place. Then I'm going to use the spot weld drill, which as you can see is a flat drill, to clean these out. So there we go, guys. It's all welded, it's dressed up, cleaned up, I've sanded it down. Once that's painted, you're not going to know that's been repaired. That's a really nice repair, so I'm dead chuffed for that. Right, guys, now the bottom half's all done. I'm going to use this antique Black & Decker grinder with a knotted wire wheel to remove the rest of it under seal and see if it needs any more repairs. Wow, that's got some power, that. I think I'm going to wear some arm protection just in case. Right, where was I? Right, guys, as you can see, we've got this horrible rubbery stuff everywhere, but we've got the bulk of it off. Now, it's revealed a couple of things I'm not happy with, if I'm honest. So, most of this area looks really good. However, here, there's a hole in the strong part of the chassis leg. Doesn't look a bad thing to repair. I'm just going to cut it out, basically, put a bit of 2mm plate there, because this is a lot thicker, this stuff. Spot weld it back in. That should be okay. Here, now that's more of a concern, because that's the carpet behind there. That's the soundproofing going in and out. So I'm going to have to strip the interior to do that. And then I think I'm going to cut it from the inside and weld it like that. So that's added a lot of work, that hole, unfortunately. And then at the top here, it didn't look too bad, but it's quite scabby at the top. And then when I've played with it, I've made a hole. So I'm going to have to cut all that out and redo that. Again, that's quite an involved job. So you've got to remember, this car is going to be 300 horsepower. So when I cut all this stuff out, I'm going to clean it up nicely, and then I'll probably replace it with 2mm plate, just to make it that bit stronger, because they can crack across here just from the the power, and we don't want that to happen. So that's going to be reinforced. This is going to be repaired properly, and so is this, because I want this car to be as perfect as I can make it. Right, I think I'm going to cut this bit out and then go from there. The beauty of Vauxhalls is they don't tend to spread rust like some cars. Like some cars, from experience, will have a bit of rust everywhere. As you can see, this stuff's like brand new. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to the end of this and then cut it off, because I don't think I need to replace the whole thing. And there we go. So I need to recreate this, weld a piece in there. Again, I'm going to use 2mm plate because it's nice and thick, this stuff. And then I'll make another piece what goes over the top so it looks factory. There we go. I need to make something like that out of steel. So there we go, replacing that with that. And that should just fit in there like so. Right, guys, let's weld it on. So I'm just going to use a little magnetic clamp just to hold it into place roughly. Just like that. And I can start welding. Right, it's all welded and I've used my belt sander to dress it all up. Now this is 2mm plate, as I've just said, so that's just as strong as the original now. Now I need to make another section what goes on top. You'll never know, hopefully. So, here's my cardboard template. Again, I'll cut that out, weld it in, boom. Right, so I've cut this bit out. I've put the little grooves in so it lines up with the top of this, which is pretty much how it was, because it went down to a flat piece like that. I've drilled the holes so I can plug weld it. I've also primed the back of this here, just to make sure it doesn't go rusty. Same process as this. I'll weld it on, clean the holes out, and then weld that bit. And there we go, guys. Welded, dressed, and once that's under seal, you're never going to know that's been touched. That's a really good repair, so I'm dead chuffed with that. Right, so the next job is going to be a harder job, and that's the top of this splash guard here. Now this bit is nice and easy. It's this bit I'm concerned about, so I need to kind of cut all this back. This is part of the inner wing. This is obviously the strut tower turret bit. That's 2mm thick. That's like thinner, maybe 1.2 thick. That's 1.2, and there's a bit of overlap here. So I just need to take it back layer by layer and see exactly what we want to work with. Right, guys, as you can see, I've kind of cut this out, slight bend to it, which is going to fit here. I'm going to seam weld it and plug weld it. And there we go, guys, with some holes in it, so I can plug weld it. Right, let's get it fitted. Right, guys, so I've welded this plate in now. Now I've seam welded across this edge here, I've stitch welded it, and I've plug welded it. So being 2mm, it's far stronger than it would have been originally. Much better for the 2-litre turbo conversion. So I'm dead chuffed with that, and the best thing is it still looks fairly OE. And once it's stone chipped and that, you're never going to know that's been touched. So I'm really, really pleased. Right, I think I'm going to wrap the video up purely for the fact it's been long enough. There's still a hole here in the splash guard. But I'm going to do that for an inside so I can get better access. So that's going to be a job for another day. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Really does help. And show support by leaving a comment and liking the video. Stay tuned for more, guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.